Very good morning, guys. My name is Shivraj, and I have started a new series in my YouTube channel that is named as Gen Z JavaScript. So, in this series, we will be learning React.js, Angular, and JavaScript. All the important concepts we will be learning here. And I am a full stack developer with having 10 plus year of experience under my belt. And guys, please subscribe to my channel so that you will be notified for all the upcoming videos. Thank you.
In this video, we'll be understanding render and commit. So why this is important that we will be learning. So what we will learn, what rendering means in React, when and why React renders a component, the step involved in displaying a component on screen, and why rendering does not always produce a DOM update. So render and commit, what does that mean? So if I start this video with this line that render is the React is rendering the component, that is the step which is just before the browser paint happens. Browser paint means the actual actual screen that you see with the latest data, that is known as the browser rendering or browser paint. So, and rendering is what how React is calling the component. So if I talk in simple words, how this doc has explained, like given an example of a restaurant. So if I visit a restaurant, I order something. So that is called I have triggered, right? I have triggered a render. Now they are processing, they are making my food, right? That process is called rendering the component. So they are rendering the component. And finally, the food is placed now in my table. So that process is called commit. They have committed. So these are the three steps that we have to understand while working with React, right? So with the help of kitchen example, this must be easy to understand now. So trigger, render, commit. Trigger is ordering something. Render is they have prepared something. And commit is they have placed that food, that meal in your table, right? So now how like trigger a render, right? There are two reasons for a component. There are always two reasons. One is whenever we are starting our app, whenever we are starting our application, the initial render happens. In initial render, if you are working in Angular or in React, so you know this is a single page application, and in index.js file, there you will be showing create root. I will show you like this. So create root. So this is a page, root page, where all the components they are always on a single page. So everything is loading up. So this is a root page. So this root page we are actually initial render is actually calling this document.get element.id root, and this is called only once on initial render, and then root.render this. Okay, this is happening in initial render, and the re-renders that happen when we change something, or like I've called some API, now some new data has come up, or I'm doing some operation like adding something in cart. We are seeing like in Flipkart or Amazon, we are adding something to shopping cart, or we are saving some order to the next item, or we are selecting something, like some change is happening in the screen. So how that is happening? That is happening because we are changing some state. So as you know, if you have seen my previous video or my previous videos where I've explained the use state, which is how we are managing component state, right? So if we get a setter function, so we get one state and one setter function to update that state. So whenever we are calling that method, so that is updating the state, and as soon as the state is updated, the React knows, okay, now state is updated. That means it has to re-render two things. It will re-render and it will preserve that change. Whatever we have changed, it will preserve it, and while re-rendering, it will show that. When the component finally re-renders, you will see the updated data. The two things are happening. One is it is re-rendering as soon as you change some state, component re-renders first. The second thing, it is preserving the new data, whatever we have updated, whatever change we have made. So these things are happening when we are triggering a render. So this is how we are triggering a render, and this is what is happening when render is when the rendering happens, right? So we know initial render we have seen, and this is the only thing for initial render. This is getting called create root and root.render. So that is how you are able to see something on the screen. uh, something initially when we are loading any application of React. And re-rendering is when updating a state. This I've already explained, right? So not to waste our time, we will quickly go to second step. What is second step? React renders your component. So initial render, this we already know. And if I talk about steps, so here they have explained with the help of steps. Step one, step two, step three, right? So step one, they're going to triggering a render. So in what ways it can happen? Initial render or state change, right? And second step, they are saying React renders your component. So what React is doing, it is rendering your component. This is a second step. So what happens on initial render, React will call on initial render, React will call the root component. There you have triggered the operation, right? And here what is happening, it is telling you. So on initial render, React will call the root component, and for subsequent renders, React will call that function component only whose state has been updated, right? So this is what is happening. So this is how fast it is, and also it is a recursive operation. So if it is nested down, so it recursively it will call the components. You can go through this document. This is a very good document, I must say, if you want to understand React in detail. And step three is the final step where we're committing, where the food is getting in our meal, where you are seeing the paint, the browser paint, the final changes on the screen. That is called that you can call up as browser rendering or the final paint, final changes you are able to see on the screen. So for the initial render, React will use append child, right? And so for initial render, like for initial render, it uses append child. It is a DOM API to put all the DOM nodes created on the screen. So now it is talking about the DOM things. So in final step, we are not talking about the components and another. The final step is to show something on the screen, and screen means the DOM, and DOM has the nodes, right? So this is how it is collecting those nodes and showing on the screen. This is happening here in the last step, in the committing step. So here it is using append child. This is a DOM API, and with the help of this, it is to put all the DOM nodes it has created on the screen. And for re-render, what it will do, React will apply the minimum necessary operation, like minimum necessary operation to make the DOM match the latest rendering output. So it will also check if there is some change. If not change, it will not render. So this is how fast it is, and this is how it works. So guys, this is all. Recap what we have learned. We have learned any screen update in React app happens in three steps. Any update that you see in React application, the three steps must be there. First, trigger, how you are triggering it, whether your application is initially loading or we have called the state method, you have made some state change. That is how it will trigger. And when it triggers, then what will happen? Rendering happens. So component, whatever component like in initial, it calls the root, right? And if it is re-render, it calls that particular component where the state has been changed. So that is called rendering. Rendering is happening, and committing is the final paint with the help of DOM API, right? The final paint on the DOM on the screen that we are seeing, that is happening. And also one more thing, you can use strict mode to find mistakes in a component. So what does React says? React says you should make always pure functions, pure components. That is, whatever, if there is same input, there should be always same output, right? The component should not change something in other components, or something that should impact some other component. It should be pure always. If we are giving a same input, so it should return same output. So how strict mode is helping us? If we are using strict mode in our local or anytime, so what does it do? It will call that component twice. So if it is calling twice, if it is making some change at the first time, the second change you can easily see. So that is how you can catch the mistake, right? In second time it will show wrong. So React says it should be a pure component. Like always, if you are providing 2 as input and it is giving 4, so it will always return 4, and it will, if it is given 2 many times or single time or multiple time, it is given 2 as an input, and it should always return 4. So this is how the pure component is talks about. And React does not touch the DOM if the rendering result if the rendering result is the same as the last time. This is we already discussed. It will not change the DOM. It does not touch the DOM if the rendering result is same as the last time. So this is all it is. This React is checking. If it is same, it will not it will not like change it. So this is how like fast operation is happening with the help of React. So in this video, we understand, I tried to explain render and commit in the very easy way. And you can also go through this docs after this video to go through all the details, whatever is told in this video. And good luck, guys. Please keep supporting my channel and my videos. Please give your love, and also please leave comments if you have any questions. I will surely help you as per my experience. I will quickly uh, reply you over there, right? So this is how we can learn. Thank you. Take care, guys.